So I knew I wanted to stream today. I wasn't entirely sure what, but after however many weeks it's been now, I've finally finished my Octopath Traveler 2 grind. I think, is my chat off? It just doesn't show the conversation leading up to here. Anyway, whole bunch of people stopping in. Hope things are going well today. Nevermore, Sumi, Guzma, Mortis, John, and Kyle. And yeah, I think I got everyone there. Hopefully, if I missed anyone, I'm sorry. So I have been, now is going. It just didn't translate stuff over. So now we know that, yes, that's the plan there. There is an end game bit that I need to initiate over here, I guess, or something or other that I hope won't take too long. But apparently that's not going to be as hard as the thing that I'm trying to do first, and that's beating the final boss of Octopath Traveler 1 again here, which was an insanely brutal boss fight in Octopath 1. You need to use all 8 of your characters, so there's 2 different parties of 4, so you need to grind everyone. You can't just have a team of 4. Figure out how those teams are going to slot together. Face an insanely hard boss that I got it on the 3rd try in Octopath 1. And there was an 8 boss rush that you had to do every time before to even try it. Luckily, there's no boss rush this time. You can just go and do it, which I'm really, really glad for. Because my goodness, spending an extra 30 or 40 minutes just redoing the boss rush every single time you wanted to reattempt it. My god, that sucks. So I don't know if it has anything to do with the story here, but this is the hardest boss in the game, so we're gonna do that, and then we'll beat, like, the actual game final boss, which apparently isn't even as hard as the thing that I'm facing first. So I'll be doing things a little bit out of order there. Yeah, imagine I go to face him here, and it's just like, surprise! Here's 8 boss rush again! I'd be so mad. But yeah, that's the plan here, is to be the final Octopath stream. I haven't streamed in a while because I've been grinding, because I needed to, you know, be very prepared. So I think I have my final builds now essentially figured out. I grinded my level first and foremost. Now everyone is at least level 80. My 2 highest are into the 90s with Hikari and Temino, since I was, you know, having them in the party that I was grinding with for the sake of taking out enemies. But everyone is at least level 80. And before we go do the, not the final boss, but I guess the super boss then of Galdera, I'd like to go through my builds and stuff. But yeah, I still can't believe they brought him back. Yeah. Galdera seems to be a bit of a recurring figure in Octopath here. I hope so. I sure hope so. Square Enix and Ninjas must have seen your jokes about Galdera coming back during the Triangle Strategy streams. Yeah, and then brought him back here. Octopath 2 is in development, Triangle Strategy release, so they had him planned for it beforehand. So they had Galdera planned for here, at least. Anyway, I guess I can go through just, like, classes and stuff first. So Hikari is in Arms Master as he was through most of the game. Since, you know, do massive damage like that, be a physical wall and massive physical damage dealer, he's mostly just, you know, sticking around in that as he has been. Ochette has been reclassed to White Mage, interestingly enough, because in the main game, she was one of my main damage dealers as well, with being able to summon beasts. But the thing is, on other characters, you can equip the skill Deal More Damage to change the damage cap to 99,999 from the base 9,999. But if you equip that skill on Ochette, it doesn't actually affect the beasts that she summons. Those still get capped at 9,999, which means that if you're going to rely on beasts for damage from her, like, her damage is just gonna fall off. It gets capped, whereas other people's damage can get uncapped. So, you know, she's not really as much of a physical asset anymore. And now she's in more of a support role. So I've outfitted her with several monsters, with several beasts, for the sake of being a support role and whittling down shield points. And to play into that support role, since she's no longer that much of a damage dealer, I put her into White Mage, which, even though, or Cleric, I guess not White Mage, Cleric is the case. Even though I was looking through maximum stats in the game, apparently how much you heal for is based off of elemental defense, and Ochette, along with Hikari, I believe, have the lowest max elemental defense stats in the game, which means that she's not exactly super well suited for it. But with the help of a lot of equipment and accessories, she's been outfitted to be pretty good, it seems like. Temenos is in Scholar, as he has been throughout the playthrough here, because, you know, he has the latent power of being able to break shield points regardless of weakness, and then he can use Elemental Barrage from Scholar to, you know, attack 6 to 8 times and just obliterate a shield, which is fantastic. And he's mostly on support with, like, healing and Prayer for Plenty for overheal, which I'm only going to be able to overheal in one of my 2 parties. I think it's going to be the second one there. So, yeah. Yeah, so there's a more balanced Beastmaster there. Yeah, both Octopath and Bravely Default are like semi-related to each other there. But yeah, I'm really glad that they didn't do that. Yeah, in the first Octopath Traveler, you know, it was already pretty decently balanced. I like the Beastmaster changes that they did in this game, where it's like, you know, you can summon any one, like, creature infinite times, but the super powerful ones you can only summon once per battle and only at maximum boost, you know? Which, like I mentioned, I have outfitted myself with monsters. I'll show them shortly. And then Particio is in Arcanist, because, you know, that's the one, like, as we have been doing, where, you know, he can pass sidesteps around to the whole team. I don't know how much he's actually going to be using the other things. It's still primarily, that. Well, if, like, per battle, you can use them in, like, the subsequent battles, not like they're just gone forever. But yeah, the, any boss monsters that you capture, you can only summon once per battle. So, I only have one boss monster in my, if you don't count Terra and Glacius, which are, like, freebie story ones. In terms of the 6 slots, and yeah, it's 6 slots just like Pokemon. In terms of the 6 slots that you can customize, I only have one boss one. I was looking around online, and apparently most people do like 3 or something like that. Now I just have one, and then the rest are dedicated to support and breaking down shield points. But yeah, Particio is a little bit of a light magic, dark magic kind of Dudo there, but mostly gonna pass around sidesteps, and has a Dudo that he has hired that's also about passing around BP to allies. But yeah, I feel like you should buy Bravely Default 2 and play on hard just to rage. Sounds awful. But yeah, not that they would flee and run off after using it once. Oh no, you don't have to go and recapture them or anything like that. But the one boss monster that I captured, I will say that I captured it on the first try when I was on the way to work one day, and I was super impressed there. As for the other characters here, Agnia is in Inventor, as she has been throughout the game here, due to being able to pass around some of the Inventor things like Springy Boots to the whole team with her latent power, and just generally being good support there. Plus, Inventor has, I believe, sword and axe, and, you know, she has dagger, so it's like, hey, 3 weapons then, that works out pretty well. So there's that there. Throne I decide to have as my Hunter Thief. I was thinking about having Ochette as Hunter Thief, because it is a pretty good combination. I quite liked having Ochette as Hunter Thief throughout the playthrough. But I figured, you know, I shouldn't have 2 of the same thing, and Ochette's more on support. So let's put Ochette into Cleric, and Throne will become my new Hunter Thief that is gonna, you know, be able to go through weak points and hopefully deal a whole lot of damage with all kinds of things. Casti is in the Conjurer class, which is probably the most underwhelming special class in the game, and I figured I would give it to Casti because the weapons that she gets of bow and staff, you know, she didn't have before anyway. She had axe, so she can use all 3 of those weapons there. You know, we'll make use of it as opposed to giving Conjurer to someone that already had access to those kinds of weapons. And she's focusing a bit more on elemental attack because she can assign elements to your whole party's attacks there. So she's mostly going to be on, like, backup support of, you know, being able to heal and stuff like that as Cleric, be able to poison foes and all that, be able to mix concoctions, and being able to help me burn through weak point gauges. Weak point gauges? Shield points, whatever the heck. What game I'm getting confused weak point gauges for? Like Hyrule Warriors or something? I don't know. But to burn through those and stuff, so, you know, on support there. Now, this one is probably the one that looks the weirdest, is Oswald. You know, the super magical character in the most physical-based class of warrior. Which, when I showcase the equipment and stuff, it'll probably make sense here, you know, is the case. But yeah, hold on, let's see here. So if I go through the equipment, Hikari has, you know, all of the special legendary weapons that go with Arms Master that unlock the Arms Master skills, because, you know, then I have all the Arms Master skills, and that's what it's meant for. He's the one that I decide to assign the battle-tested shield, which means he's going to be recovering HP and SP after an action. The Art of Disguise I have assigned as headgear to most of my characters. It's become, like, probably my favorite headgear in the game. I think there's only, like, 2 or 3 characters that don't have it equipped there. It doesn't have the very highest of physical defense and elemental defense stats, but it's not half bad. It's still pretty good. Max SP plus 90 gives me a lot more wiggle room of being able to use a bunch of, you know, special attacks before I need to start shoving plums in everyone's faces, you know? You know, it'll buy me a few extra turns there, so that's always nice there. Yeah, it's only 84 hours. It's probably more than that when you count, like, erased timelines, though. Okay, it's not quite past 90 yet, but, there's that. And it also has elemental defense a little bit higher than physical defense. And then I want to do a similar thing for his chest guard, because Hikari is a character that has very high physical defense, but very low elemental defense. So I was like, hey, let's give him a chest guard that gives him, let's balance him out a little bit. Let's give him a lot of elemental defense. And as you can see there, physical defense 729, elemental defense 723, only a difference of 6 points. They're almost even. So, Hikari's weakness is normally elemental defense. He's not gonna care. Just throw stuff at him and he's not gonna care too much. And then, plus, recover HP after performing an action is going to... I tested them and found out that they do indeed stack. So he's recovering a decent smidge. I think it's like 400 HP per turn that goes by. So that's pretty nice there. As for accessories, I have the Champion's Belt to increase his physical attack by an additional 100 here, as well as critical by 100, which apparently just increases like crit chance rather than crit damage. I think crit damage is always set. I don't care about the prevent surprise attacks from enemies all that much. Mostly just let's boost physical attack a whole bunch, and then let's just increase the amount of damage that he's doing by a lot. Because I basically have 5 support characters, and I have 3 damage characters. The 3 damage characters are Hikari, Oswald, and Throne. And Hikari is going to be like the only significant damage dealer. Maybe a little bit of a sleeper damage dealer with Agnia, but mostly Hikari. So I'm going to need him to hit like a truck. So that's the goal here. And with some of these weapons, the physical attack is getting pretty high there. It's pretty nice. It is also worth noting the nuts in the game, which are like the permanent stat boosting items. I haven't used them. I was thinking about doing it, but some of the characters were reaching close to 999, which is the cap anyway. Like Oswald is, very darn close when we get to him. But and it's like, oh, well, if I don't need to use them, then I'll just like save them and then I can assign them whenever. If I can't beat Galdera in one go of it, then I'll use them though. So it is worth noting that wherever they are, yeah, I have all these from going around stealing literally everything I could in the world from places that I knew that there would be people to steal stuff from. So if I can't beat Galdera, I'll use these and boost my stats even more, but I have not used a single nut. I'm proud to say I've not nutted a single time. But yeah, how many hours do you have in the original game? I don't know. I don't think it would show here. It was 5 years ago, right? I can't cycle to the bottom or anything. Yeah, that's... I don't know. You can probably look on, like, the final episode of my Octopath 1 playthrough and just see, like, the in-game time in the top right when I open it. Most likely, if you really want the answer there. So, yeah, that's my, setup with equipment for Hikari here. Then for Ochette here, she, in Cleric, is going to have Hero's Axe, which she's probably not going to use Lightning all that much. It is a backup option for her if she wants to, especially considering she does have, like, a secondary job that's in magic and stuff. Then it's like, hey, that one single target Lightning she gets from Hunter, I guess, can do that. But mostly for, like, physical attack critical. She's the one getting the battle-tested bow. I have all the battle-tested weapons assigned to everyone except for the battle-tested lance. Or halberd, or whatever the heck, polearm. That's the only one I don't have assigned to anyone. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna reduce physical defense. I mostly just want the damage there. Fine, didn't want it, but I guess you gotta go check it out there. And she's using the Great Sage's Staff, which will also help boost her speed a little bit there. That's the thing that she is using there. I found out, as I mentioned earlier, that the healing is based off of elemental defense rather than elemental attack. So I have a bunch of equipment on her with the goal of raising elemental defense to really make her, my sleeper healing unit. Because I'm going to have Temenos in one team and Ochette in the other one for, like, my 2 dedicated healers, essentially. And by way of doing this, I've made her the most defensive unit in my entire squad. Physical defense, 920. Elemental defense, 942. Despite her elemental defense along with Hikari's being, I believe, the worst in the game. So, she's a support unit, a healer, and also a tank. So, when 999 is the cap. So, yeah, that's, so there's that. I don't care much about the raised physical defense of the Star Battle. I just wanted to, raise elemental defense a whole bunch there. You have the Art of Disguise as well, because, I love that one. You're given the Sublime Ornamental Armor, which boosts each of those by 180, and then if you receive most elemental types of damage, then, it'll be reducing that. So, yeah, that helps a lot. This helps a lot, too. You can see there's plus 50, because that's one of the skills that I have on is Upgrade Accessories, which increases the effective accessories by 50%. So, Coat of Arms would increase both by 100, but really, because of that skill, it's increasing both by 150, And then this here, I think there's only the one coat of arms in the game, so, you know, here's one for 80 for each. So, you know, that's kind of what I played into here. And Ochet's gonna be taking the least damage in my whole party, unless, you know, we're able to dodge with a bunch of side steps, and then everyone just takes a whole little amount of damage. So yeah, Ochet's gonna keep on living and keep on supporting the party, is the idea there. As for Temenos over here, he has the Staff of Carnage, is the case, for that big elemental attack and stuff. He has the Quartz Shield, which will help boost his elemental defense more than physical defense, because, you know, being able to heal and stuff like that. And you can see his elemental defense is at 930, so, you know, it's crazy that, you know, Temenos, which has, I believe, the highest elemental defense in the game by standard, has less elemental defense now than Ochet, that has, like, the least. I guess because, you know, he has other, you know, accessories on, but still, pretty crazy there. Art Disguise, because I love the Art Disguise, it's pretty great. His SP is crazy at 463. He has the Vest of Joy. This was on Ochet, but I was like, wait, I should give the one with more points to Ochet there. So yeah, there's all those, prevent those things. I had to do a lot of side quests for a lot of this equipment. This grinding was not just grinding against generic enemies. For most of the really good equipment, I needed to do side quests up the yin-yang all around the world, you know? He's the one that I gave the Librarian's Amulet to, which raises his max SP by 120 and his elemental defense by 120 as well. So it's like, ah, yeah, that's a Temenos accessory there. As well as the Stone of Truth. So I found out how more intense spells work in this game. And apparently, by default, like, your fire, ice, and lightning will only hit one time. In Octopath 2, you would get a skill later that would, like, you would get versions of them that hit 2 times, and then the Arcanist job had versions of those same skills that would hit 3 times. Which essentially made, like, the prior versions useless to ever use again once you unlock those layer ones. It works differently in this game. You'll always only have, like, the one for use thingamabobs, but you can use a skill, like, use a thingamabob in battle there, that lets you hit twice for a little while, and at max boost you can use a thing that makes you hit 3 times with it. Basically, if you power them up, it'll make your spells more intense, which also includes things like healing. So this Stone of Truth makes it so that it's the 2 times version, not the 1 times version. And that's why I gave it to Temenos, to just be able to, by standard, be healing more, be doing more with his magic, and not to Oswald, because he's gonna want to set it for the 3 times anyway, so let's not bother giving him, like, the 2 times thing, is what I figured there. So yeah, Temenos is gonna have the constant extra heals and more hits for magic and stuff. But yeah, I already made a separate save file. I already did that. Is already the case. I'm gonna load it after we go through stuff here, just because I can't go through my whole party when we're in front of Galdair. I already have a save in front of him, is the case. So yeah, he's gonna be a really great support there and stuff. Another support unit here with Particio. There are only 3 units in my party that can use pole arms. There's Hikari, that has, you know, the one that he needs for Arms Master. There's Oswald, that has a particular magic one. And then I could have given the battle-tested one to Particio, but instead I decided to do this, because it's deal 1 additional attack. Every time you attack, it does 2. So it's like, oh, okay. If I had 4 units that were using pole arms, then I would have given someone the battle-tested thingamabob. But no one's got it. No one's got the battle-tested spear, because, you know, may as well do this to, you know, be able to whittle down, shield points a little bit more. But yeah. Harmonia and Kuzma had me review your voice takes for the game, know about the Among Us joke. From, sometimes it's funny to, you know, say whatever pops into the mind while reading out voice lines and stuff. He's the one with the battle-tested dagger, just because the one that's using you know, the one that's doing big damage that's holding daggers has the Blessing in Disguise and, you know, Lost Tribe stuff. So he's got the battle-tested dagger even if he barely uses it, and then exercising bow for the additional speed, and then being able to hit really hard. What the heck? What? Oh, I guess when I was giving, he wants a Sun Shadow Staff. I do not want to go in with makeshift staff. That would be embarrassing. He wants a Sun Shadow Staff, and I guess that's because I assigned someone else to Arcanist, and then, you know, him back into it to unlock skills on someone else there. And because Arcanist uses both light magic and dark magic, and this raises the potency of both. Apparently, whenever a weapon says that raises the potency of something, that means increases it by 30%. Which, that's pretty nice. I had to do a really weird side quest for that one, actually. I think I have it in the album here, actually. Where, yeah, was it this? Fairly certain it was this. I needed to wait for this sassy lost child here to come out there. I believe this is the one that had like the creepy stuffed toy. And then while he's out here in the morning, I had to wait like a few minutes. You need to coerce. I will get answers. And then you face this thing, not even the child. This is how I got the Sun Shadow Staff. It was so weird. So, you know, it got to be a little bit of a weird game. And if you, after you coerce him, you get death, evil, loathing, resentment, murder, misfortune, yada yada. And then you get the Sun Shadow Staff with the hidden item. I don't know what that's a screenshot of. What is it a screenshot of? What is that? Oh, that was me trying to remember what my equipment was before I switched him out of things there. No, I know that I want the Sun Shadow Staff there for light and dark. He also gets a Sun Shield here, and he's going to recover HP after performing an action, so that's nice. Our disguise, because I have that on so many people. The Royal Guards mail is my renewable chest guard that is on the most units. Like, a lot of people have, like, one-off kind of things that there's only one of them in the game, it seems like, so assign it to them. Royal Guards mail is one of the ones that you can get infinite of by buying them in a shop, and it's, like, my go-to of the infinite but standard thingamabobware. Thingamabob there. Wait, what? What shadow? I had to coerce a kid, and he became, like, a shadow monster thing. So, yeah, there's that. But yeah, that's a pretty nice one there, plus 160 to both, and then 750 to max HP. Can't exactly go wrong with that. Need to do a side quest for this Melia's Amulet to recover HP and SP after performing an action. And then I also put on the Scarlet Stone of Protection for Elemental Defense plus 30, and also recovering SP after performing an action. All these things will stack. So, Particio, while he's setting up to give the party sidesteps or BP or whatever the heck, he's gonna be constantly recovering his HP and SP by, like, decent smidges. So, you know, it's gonna be even harder to kill him from there. So that'll be neat there. Inventor Agnia, she's the one using the battle-tested blade. Again, it would probably be better off going to someone that, you know, wants to do more damage. In fact, part of me was even tempted to give this to Hikari, because, you know, I don't know if I actually use the Arms Master Sword skill, but I was like, it feels better to have on, like, the canonical intended thing, whatever. And I gave the battle-tested blade to her, and she should be able to be, like, you know, sleeper damage dealer there, even if she, you know, doesn't really have much in the way of physical skills to pop and do massive damage or anything like that. I mean, it'll definitely boost things like the portable catapult or whatever the heck. I'm sure it doesn't just affect sword things. I don't actually know. And a lot of these things I haven't actually tested. They just sounded good in my head, and when I was browsing Octopath Wiki to see what sounded like it was good. I almost made a spreadsheet for this game, like I do with Fire Emblem. But I made a notepad on my phone instead. Should I just show it? I made a notepad on my phone to plan out my builds and stuff, and exactly what I was gonna do. And then there was like some team setup stuff from earlier. It's mostly this bigger text stuff at the top that I was planning stuff out in more recently. That I was slapping everything together. So she is the battle-tested blade. She has Vengeful Knife here that I was gonna increase her speed a whole bunch. She's the one with a double tomahawk. So both Particio and Agnia can attack like twice in one go. Particio with his polearm and Agnia with the axe, which is pretty nice. It's the highest level dungeon. I have no idea. The highest level one that I went to was level 55 though. I'm fairly certain that was the one with the a bit of a recurring boss from Octopath 1. Yeah, so that should be really strong, along with this, because it's the exact same thing. It's literally the exact same thing, but as a polearm. So, you know, that should be really nice to help me whittle down shield points, which will be very nice there. Just Adamantine Buckler, another Art of Disguise right there, and Royal Guards Mail. She has Alpion's Amulet, because her HP by default is, like, pretty darn low. So with this plus that, you know, boosting it by, like, 2,000 there, basically, it's like, okay, now her HP is in a pretty good place, being 5,400 instead of, like, 3,000 some or other. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm not entirely certain. I assume that you'd be able to restore purchases and stuff like that. Go to the eShop if you had it digitally there. And then she's the one that got slapped the Sister's Amulet here, which increases speed and critical by 100 each. So that should help her in the turn order there. Throne, another damage dealer here. She's the one that got the Blessing in Disguise, which turns negative values on other equipment into positive values, which meant I gave her a whole bunch of stuff that has, like, detrimental effects to make them positive effects. So, Serpent Slayer, I believe, has the highest damage for a sword in the game, and that's why she also doesn't have the battle-tested blade. I am almost tempted to give her the battle-tested blade anyway, just to, like, strengthen physical skills, because she'd actually be using them. I don't know how worth it would be here exactly. Raises her accuracy by 75, critical by 150. Those would normally be reduced, but thanks to the Blessing in Disguise being as strong as it is. Again, is tempted to give her the battle-tested blade, but then it's like, what do I give Agnia? I can't give her the Serpent Slayer because it's just going to reduce accuracy and critical. Like, I don't know. So that's why I went with it. Just feels like the better thing to go with. Lost Tribe's Dagger, which is really strong, but it decreases speed by 103, but it increases it with Blessing in Disguise. Lost Tribe's Axe was actually going to increase critical rather than decrease it. Lost Tribe's Bow is actually going to increase accuracy rather than decrease it. Her shield, aka the best shield in the game, especially if you have the Blessing in Disguise, increases both those by 133, and then some more evasion, so that's nice there. Cursed Helm is going to increase both those by a decent bit, 88, but it decreases your SP by a lot. But not with a Blessing in Disguise, it's plus 66, so that's pretty nice there. And then Cursed Armor, I believe, is also the highest defensive values for armor in the game, with like plus 222 for each, but decreasing speed. But it's increased speed. Which character's your favorite story now that you beat all of them? I don't know. Maybe Partitio's. His was pretty fun, feel good there, I would say. And then, Throne has, like, very high critical stat stuff. So I was like, huh, let's raise damage dealt by critical hits, and then let's try to, you know, get crits a whole bunch with all sorts of stuff. So that's what's going on with Throne. Casti here is the one that's getting the battle-tested axe, and she is not actually going to try to do all that much in the way of physical damage, you know? And yeah, that's definitely pretty neat there. Yeah, now that you mention it, that whole, like, final sequence of Throne, that was pretty darn cool, not gonna lie. Yeah, that, not wrong there. Maybe Partitio and then Throne for me? I don't know. I think they might both be up there for me. That was a pretty darn cool final sequence. Anyway, because she's in Conjure and can therefore assign elements to weapons, I'm not really that focused with her on doing a lot of damage with her physical attacks, rather doing more damage with the elemental attack that follows. So the battle-tested axe works amazingly for that. So Conjure can assign, I believe, fire, ice, lightning, or wind. I'm playing mostly into lightning and ice. So the battle-tested axe here, I don't think it matters that it raises elemental attack because that raises it by more anyway. Well, I guess if you attack with the battle-tested axe, it'll play in that elemental attack there with, like, the weapon that you attacked with. I know that if you use, like, an actual spell, then it just uses whichever one is the highest. But I assume that if I attack with the axe and then go into the elemental attack that follows, that gets assigned from Conjure, then it'll use that elemental attack. So either way, not half bad for that, I guess. But it also raised the potency of lightning and ice-based attacks. And like you mentioned, apparently raising potency means by 30%. So that means if I'm attacking with lightning or ice with her, it's going to be hitting 30% harder. Absolute Zero Bow is pretty far from, you know, the highest that I could get. So I could put, like, many harder hitting things here, like boost that is 623 from 472. But this also raised the potency of ice-based attacks. And this also raised the potency of lightning-based attacks. That is a plus 60% to both lightning and ice. If there was an ice version of the rod or a lightning version of bow, I would have totally gone with that. But alas, no such luck there. I would have totally gone, like, plus 90% to just one. That would have been really cool. But hey, then there's some options. If the enemy is weak to lightning or ice, let's just hit, like, a truck with those. That sounds cool to me. Her equipment here is Protector's Shield there, or Disguise, because that's friggin' amazing. Royal Guards Mail. She gets Lila's Amulet, and she has the upgrade accessories as well to increase her elemental attack. Because, yeah, you can see her physical attack is pretty low, but her elemental attack is, like, much higher there. So that's what I'm playing into there. Increases elemental attack and evasion to make her a little bit safer. I mostly want the elemental attack, though. And also the Shadow Sage necklace to just get some more SP and more elemental attack, because, you know, why not? Can't go wrong with either of those. And then finally, Oswald, my weird build that I did here. After realizing that, you know, there's things like this that raise the potency by 30%, and, you know, there's some weapons like that, and I looked through the weapon list in this game from the Octopath wiki, and I found out that there was a decent few weapons that raise the potency of fire-based attacks. So it probably seems odd to put Oswald, you know, the big magic-hitting, hard-hitting guy, into such a physical-based class. Like, you would think that if he was in a physical-based class, you would use, like, of equal might, that one skill from Arcanist that would make his physical attack as high as his elemental attack. I haven't done that. He's in this physical class, and is still playing completely into magic. Because by going into Warrior, he gets access to swords and polearms. He can equip the Fire Starter, raises the potency of fire-based attacks. Fire Dragon's Glaive, raises the potency of fire-based attacks. My strategy with Oswald is essentially to just like burn through my foes with fire. Is essentially what I'm trying to do here. And then to hit like a truck with that, he's the one with a battle-tested staff. So, you know, that's certainly something there. And then plus all his equipment, you can see that without even using any nuts and still being like far away from max level, he's almost hit the cap for elemental attack at 986 when the cap is 999. That I was thinking about using nuts, but that's what dissuaded me from it, being like, oh, is it really necessary in that case? So, you know, that's the case there. So I'm hoping that his fire is gonna be absolutely devastating. I am probably not gonna use that one true magic at all. Screw that when I can use fire. So yeah, he's a warrior and has access to sword and pole arms. He's not even gonna use them. They're just gonna sit in his pocket and boost his fire, is what I'm thinking here. Then he's got the forbidden shields. I don't really care about the raises chance of encountering enemies. It's just a really good shield there. He gets the mermaid circlet, which increases the elemental attack even further. If I did use nuts, or if I was max level, and then therefore was hitting, you know, 999 elemental attack, then I would probably put an Art of Disguise on him here too, because, you know, he wouldn't be able to get the maximum use out of that increased elemental attack. But I figure, you know, at this level, it's like, alright, well, we'll leave it on there. And yeah, well, he was jailed because he was framed for murder. And then he has the Blessed Vestments that increases elemental attack further as well, while, you know, boosting defenses by a pretty good thingamabob there. Yeah, he did. He unlocked the one true magic and he killed them with anime powers. Then he has the Eye of Calamity, which I believe is the accessory that boosts your attack stats by the highest in the game. At the start of battle, it reduces them a little bit, but, you know, I don't know how many turns it is. Maybe I should have tested that. But it boosts them both by 120, and it's gonna take me a while to set up my super high damage stuff anyway. So, you know, that's really darn crazy there. If he ever reached max level and this got capped at 999, then it's like, okay, I could give him something that boosts it by less and give the Eye of Calamity to someone else, you know? But for now, he's got that. And then just for the sake of defenses, because I worry about him being a little bit flimsy as well, he has the Protective Necklace. As for my skills, show those here. Turns out skills aren't quite as busted as an Octopath Traveler 1. There was definitely some really busted must-run things in the first game. There isn't as much in this game. The one super busted must-run thing, I would say, is probably just Inventor Fruits of Labor. So deal more damage is going to my damage dealing units to raise the damage cap from 9999 to 99999, you know, because it'd be really sucky to be capped out there, so of course he was gonna have that. His latent power is really, really nice, considering with Hienka, I can basically get an extra turn, like use a couple boosts, use Hienka, and then do big damage there while the enemy's vulnerable, and then get another action at the end of the turn, and then do something really crazy damage dealing, and then get even more damage out of it. It's like, alright, that's pretty nice, and plus him having things like Insight and being like a general tank, he probably wants to be drawing a lot of enemy attacks with Insight to him anyway, and whenever he receives an attack, it fills the latent power gauge, so let's just play into that and use like Hien Cup the Yin Yang is what I kind of figure there. I'll show Fruits of Labor last here. Big performance, like, I think there was something like this at Octopath 1, I don't quite remember. This would have been a lot more busted in Octopath 1 thanks to overhealing, because there was a skill that you could put on that allowed everyone to be healed past their maximum. Overhealing in this game is only Temenos with Prayer for Plenty, which, you know, can only be like a single target thing. But I do plan on having Hikari along with Temenos in the squad there, and I'm gonna try to have Temenos focus on keeping Hikari at the cap or above his maximum HP to increase his damage even further, you know. But yeah, does update data servers? I actually do not, I'm sorry to say. And then, well, the biggest reason why everyone's physical defense and elemental defense is so high is because literally everyone in my party has Fruits of Labor. Raises the physical defense and elemental defense of the equipping character by 1 for every job skill learned. So Hikari, which has them all unlocked because I had him throughout the entire game and therefore got a lot of job points, is 96. So boosting both by basically 100 just in a skill slot there. I think the lowest I have it on any character is like 60 some. I didn't spend so much time grinding that I was going to unlock every single skill on every single character. That would have been a little bit much there. But, you know, once I was done with my level grind, I got as many skills as I could on every character that I equipped Fruits of Labor. I was like, huh, that's really gonna help me survive really well. But yeah, put them down today. I mean, I guess it would make sense with a whole bunch of stuff with the 3DS going down there. So yeah, that's what's going on with Hikari. Ochette here, sure, monsters that I have on her are all about destroying weak points for the most part. So it's like, oh, yeah, let's keep on refilling that latent power gauge, because we're gonna be exploiting enemies' weak points all the time. You know, that's gonna be great there. Fruits of Labor for plus 96 there, because I was using Ochette throughout the whole journey. Upgrade accessories to, you know, boost the effects of those by an extra 50%. And then SP Saver can be really nice there just for, you know, me using so many healing things. And then also spamming, like, the Provoke Monsters thingamabob to provoke many at once, because that would kind of burn through SP. I was thinking about, instead, potentially doing the... what is it? Where's Price of Power? There it is. Doubles the amount of SP consumed when using magic, but increases the effect of spells. That would help her heal more, but I don't think it's necessary with 942 elemental defense anyway. I could be wrong. I could always change that out, but, you know, we shall see there. This goes two ways. It helps make healing cheaper, and, like, by provoking monsters when I'm provoking multiple in the same turn cheaper. So I was like, all right, let's go with that. Temnos here, Fruits of Labor, because, you know, that's really good there. He is going to be breaking foes a decent smidge of the time, thanks to his latent power, making it so that he can damage shield points regardless of weakness, and then, you know, you add Elemental Barrage to hit 6 to 8 times in one go there, with a max boost. So, you know, there's a good chance that he's actually going to be the one breaking foes a decent smidge. And when he does, hey, maybe we'll get another Elemental Barrage, and then maybe do some more breaking. Who knows? One can hope. Why not? And then he has Price of Power SP Saver, which means that he has, like, increased spell effect, but for, like, the same cost there. So the cost is unchanged, but, you know, his spells are even more potent. And he also has that gem that increases, you know, the spells to the next level of spell. So it's like, alright, his spells are gonna be pretty good. He's gonna be pretty good on support there. Particio here. He has Elemental Augmentation just to boost that a smidge, because, you know, I didn't really think there was anything else that I wanted here more so. And his being in this class, his elemental attack is actually higher than his physical attack, and I'm not really doing much with physical. If I use that pole armor or anything, it's just gonna be to break stuff, you know. So there's that. He's all about slapping effects on the rest of the party, you know, like sidestep. And if he gets taken out, that's really annoying and really interferes with my plans. So he's the one unit I have that's running lasting memory, so that he doesn't lose those if he gets incapacitated, and then can get back up and then pass some sidesteps around anyway, and he's not gonna care. Fruits of Labor, just because, yeah, he's missing just a few there. 93 rather than 96, but still, you know, a big boost there. And that's SP Saver, just so he can keep on doing support longer without having to shove plums down his throat. As for my other party members here, I'll just, whoops, not quite the order I want. Just slap them in here. I hear my doggy barking in her sleep a little bit there. That's my other party members here. I have, let's see here. Deal more damage because, you know, gotta raise the damage cap on those that are going for damage. Fruits of Labor because everyone has that. And yeah, didn't use Throne as much, so she didn't have as many job points, and I wasn't gonna grind it to max. She is all about critical hits, and if she can land critical hits even more easily, it's like, oh yeah, she's always gonna be critting. So there's that. And then, you know, she's probably gonna be exploiting weak points a decent bit with, you know, both Hunter and Thief being able to strike multiple times with different weapon types and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely some things that they've reused from the first game there, for sure. Agnia here, largely on support, is going to be, you know, extending the duration of augmenting effects granted by the equipping character by 1 turn. Just make them last a little bit longer, because why not? Also fill the party's latent power gauge whenever you're well, just whoever you're using it on, which could be the full party in some cases. Like, why not do that? I might actually change this out. I found out recently that incidental attack is only when you're doing something that affects the enemy that is non-damaging. So that might actually be worth putting something else. I thought it was just whenever you use anything non-damaging. So I don't know what I should do. Attack of first in battle, critical rate by 50, more monsters. I'm not gonna be breaking a lot with her. I'll find something else here quick. Yeah, because I only recently found that out and I forgot to change it out. I could always use, let's slap on Fleetfoot for now. But let's see here. I don't need to use that. I don't know, that could always be handy, maybe. Knowing how mean Galdera can get from the first game. Let's see here. I don't know. Accessory when attempting to flee. I guess I don't have that rise again. Physical attack when breaking enemy? Nah. I guess I could do this and then have her be even more of my, like, sleeper backup damage thing. You know. Oh. Oh. I don't think that's too important. I mean, maybe. Maybe. Because it might happen a little bit against Galdera there. Oh, and you're gonna be in the party with a Temenos anyway, so you can get overhealed too. Sure, I'm doing it. Performance it is. Alright, so that, and then Fruits of Labor, because, you know, well, obviously that thing is amazing. Cassie here, upgrade accessories, you know, increase the effect of those by 50%. I take it that granting the augmenting effect of magic and additional magic attack to the whole party is going to work with Invigorate and Inspire, I would imagine. So, I slapped that on, along with this, because I figured they were under, like, the same kind of label there. And then, of course, Fruits of Labor, because obviously we would do that. Deal more damage, because obviously. Fruits of Labor, because obviously. Hit harder, use a little bit less SP. You know. I could do something like this, but it would only raise it by, like, what? Like, 13 points or something like that, because with the rod, I'm at 386. When, the cap is 999, so not really much point in that. So, there's that. Is there anything here to do? With Agnia, I have this elderly man that has 1,000 blades that should do, like, some decent damage. It's like 3 or 4 hits against random enemies, I believe. And also makes it so that when she grants an effect to somebody as part of being a dancer, it'll also restore, I believe it was, like, 500 HP and 40 SP, which is like, oh, that's pretty nice. The SP is definitely a lot handier. Can save me from using a plum if I need to just use, like, some really strong skill on freaking Hikari or something here. Let's see here. And then my other nerds here. Have a look-see here at other stuff to show. In terms of learned skills that I got, there's Limb from Limb for just, like, some really great damage. I might try to use it rather than Axe of the Lion Heart during Galdera when a foe is broken. We shall see here. Especially considering the sword I'm using. I'm fairly certain increases its damage a lot against broken foes here. Yeah, raise physical attack by 250 against broken foes. So combine that with the Limb from Limb, and it's like, huh, that might actually be pretty crazy. And Shnice managing to re-download it. This is a unleash an axe attack on a single foe and reduce their physical defense for 3 turns. I looked into a lot of options for decreasing physical defense of, you know, my enemies. I looked into some ways to, like, increase our physical attack and elemental attack for when Oswald would want it, and also to decrease the enemy's physical defense. There was a lot of things like monster summons that are just like a chance of lowering enemies' physical defense and elemental defense. Nothing really that's guaranteed. And I was like, man, that's pretty sucky. So it seems like it's really difficult to find things that actually reduce the enemy's defenses to help you hit harder that way. This is one of the ways that you can do it. So just before I try to go for big damage, I'd be using Break Bedrock first and, you know, be really hitting them. This is just gonna help me break weak points because, you know, hit all foes with fire, light, and dark. It's like, huh, that's pretty cool. Even if he can't do elemental attack all that well, he's still be semi-decent with it with that legendary staff and stuff. But mostly just for destroying weak points. I was thinking about using like a 2 for, I think there's even a 3 for staff skill where it's like hit all foes 3 times with the staff, but I was like, hey, let's do this. This is basically a free little heal for restore your own HP, then act again at the end of the turn. As someone that's going to be taking on a lot of damage by inciting, I thought that this might be important, especially against someone as scary as Galdera, so I decided to do that. And finally, to buff like the whole party before we try to do big damage, there's Let's End This. Raise the physical attack and elemental attack while reducing the physical defense and elemental defense of all allies for 2 turns. So do that, like, right on the turn that we're breaking someone, and then on the next turn with the last turn of, like, our defense is lowered and our attacks raised. Let's go for big damage. I'll use Break Bedrock, that, and then let's friggin' wreck them, is what I figure there. As for monsters that I have, there's the ones that, like, you always just get as part of the story. We have a little bit of a recurring face here from the first game, the Dreadwolf. Someone that gave me a decent bit of issues in Octopath 1. Wasn't as big of a deal in this game. Maybe I was just a lot more OP going into it. And when you capture boss monsters like this, as I was mentioning earlier, you can only summon them once per battle and at max boost. The Dreadwolf will, I believe, hit all targets 4 times with a dagger attack, which is great for whittling down someone that's weak to dagger. And reduce physical defense and elemental defense, I think. It reduces one of the defenses at least. It might just be physical defense, I don't quite recall. This is all off of memory here. So it's like, okay. So Ochette can use her latent power to reduce defenses. She can use the Dreadwolf to reduce defenses. and you know, try to play into that as best as she can to make it so that Oswald can hit a whole lot harder and stuff. I was thinking for the other monsters to go with ones that did like twofer attacks for you know, really whittling down weak point gauges, like ones that will hit with sword twice, hit with lance twice, stuff like that. I decided to not do any of that. I played into ones that put her more into the support role and keeping everyone alive. This one hits every enemy with a sword attack once, and then raises the whole party's physical defense. This one hits every enemy with a lance attack, with a polearm attack, and raises the whole party's elemental defense. And then I have like some twofers here. The Wind Guardian Mark II is actually going to be perfect for Galdera because apparently it's a twofer of two different things. Axe and then wind, so it's 2 attacks there. And apparently a whole lot of the enemies in the first phase there where I'm sending out Chet are weak to both axe and wind. So this is basically my Galdera shield point killer here, essentially, is what's going on there. And then just like another interesting, spicy little twofer thing, this one hits with Rod and Ice for funsies there. And then when I'm preparing to do big damage, Mountain Anteater, which is basically that Hikari skill of reduce our defenses, raise our offenses. Exact same idea. So I'm gonna have like one of those thingamabobs that I can pop in each squad to be able to hit super duper hard. So yeah, we'll see how hard I'm able to hit with that, you know? So, yeah, this is how you can deck things out. And I needed to plan them out on my list first so I could capture them in a particular order, because you can't reorder them, and I want them to be in a satisfying order like this, with the boss one at the top and then these ones in order there. So, you know, that's what I had to do. And I caught something else first, and then Mountain Anteater, and I was like, wait, that thing doesn't work the way that I thought I did. So I had to get rid of the Mountain Anteater and that to recapture, to get this one, this version set, and then recapture the Mountain Anteater, because you can't reorder them, which is so dumb. So there's that. My ally on Ochet here, I believe this one is also reduce physical defense, elemental defense on foes. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm fairly certain Ochet is always gonna be able to have our enemies sustain more damage. I don't think she's gonna be worried about that too much. Who am I guiding here? Merciless Blade. Apparently this guy is only summonable 3 times, but he can hit everyone for 9999, which sounds friggin' brutal. I don't know why this young man is so insane, but he is, apparently. Finally, the one that I hired, he can grant BP to the whole party with Sweetheart Cider. You know, he seems kind of underwhelming. Like, he's got 2 strength. There's, like, the merchant talent there. But, you know, there's already donate BP that Particio has. Now he can go even harder. He can grant an extra BP to the whole party if he wants with the elderly man here. So, yeah. I was going to load my other file that I saved in front of Galdera, but I realize now that, you know, there were some things that I forgot to have equipped, and some things that I changed out there as I went through things. And I don't actually remember all of what that is. So just to be safe, I'm just gonna, you know, go save again and then things here again. Hold on. Whoa, wait here. Temporarily, yeah, I'll put deal more damage on in a hot second. I'm gonna just put on evasive maneuvers to decrease the enemy encounter rate, and I'll save here again. But yeah, let's see here. He has 2 million health, so good luck. 2 times the amount of health in here that he did in the previous game. And there's not quite as many, like, not quite as busted things in this game as the first game, at least job and skill-wise. I'm pretty confident in my setups, though. You know, I feel like my setups I did here. You know, I haven't tried them against any significant boss, because my level's so high that any other not-important boss I'd shred through anyway. And, you know, I was spending my time grinding rather than testing, was the case. But I imagine that, come on, that it's gonna be really awesome.
Now it begins.
So I'm definitely looking forward to trying these out. Guess I'll reduce the game speed here. Did I reduce it? Hold on. Screw it, get one more encounter now. To make sure that I hit plus, so then we're at normal speed for Galdera and stuff like that. So it seemed really good though, especially with all those skills. 6! Lots of time of making builds in Fire Emblem led me to figuring that out and stuff. You know, I did actually look up, out of curiosity, what some people were saying about, like, best builds and stuff like that. I was gonna, you know, try to make stuff all on my own, but I was curious, like, what are some things that people are saying? I looked up best builds.
Prepare yourself.
And it was, like, game journalist level crap. Most of the stuff that I saw there. Just, you know, the most, I have 5 hours in this game and just started out and have no idea how it actually works kind of stuff that was being recommended. It was like, wow, really? So, you know, I was basically on my own here. Especially for things like the Dudos that are with me and stuff. I could at least find resources that told me all the weapons in the game, all the equipment, stuff like that, all the skills. There are resources for that. I could even find one for like all the monster summons. I did not find one that was all the summons here, like all the people that you can bring with you. So this is probably not the best stuff that I could be bringing. It was just the best stuff that I could find in some of the few things that were mentioned. You know, there was not a single list I found anywhere online with like all the NPC effects. Also, Adma, coming out of nowhere, the 56-month resub there.
77 years ago.
What?
I remember nothing. Not a damn thing going on in my head.
56 months is a hell of a long time there. Yeah, I guess Octopath isn't as popular for making super insanely optimized builds then, you know. And then, didn't seem like as many people were making, like, as decked out of builds. So, hey, maybe I'm one of the people on the internet with some of the, best decked out builds. I don't know here. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I appreciate the 56-month resub there, Anima. Welcome back to Team Enharmonic. Enjoy another month of the emotes and the sub badge and all that stuff there. I don't think there can be any random encounters here, so let me put on deal more damage again. Like that and stuff. Bloodborne build community is way more detailed. Oh, jeez. My, oh my. Oh yeah, one last thing I was gonna say. One last plan from my setup against Galdera here. I wanted to detail what my teams were going to be. So team 1 against the first phase was going to be Throne and Oswald that are on, you know, damage, and Ochet and Particio. My best healer is Temenos. Ochet isn't as good of a healer since, you know, she can't do things like Prayer for Plenty. It doesn't have the increased, you know, healing effect that Temenos has with that one accessory. So, because my not as good healer is in team 1, that's why I have Particio to be able to put side steps. I know that phase 1 has a lot of elemental attacks and not just physical attacks, but if he has like half physical attacks and half elemental attacks, and I can just completely negate like half of his damage to the physical attacks, then that'd be amazing. And Ochet could more than keep us alive from there, so not too worried there. And then team 2 is going to be Hikari for damage, Agnia for, you know, support / sleeper damage, Casti and Temenos. So basically 1 damage unit and basically 3 support units. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see here. There's a lot of things. Kind of looks like you're on speed. Yeah, I just started the stream a little bit ago, and I basically gave a what? Only 4 minutes. That went from 85 hours to 85 hours 4 minutes. Oh, because I saved right before I left, right? Oh yeah, I'm getting myself confused. And here's a separate save. And just to make sure that it defaults into this slot again when I save later. There we go. And I just basically spent the past close to an hour running through like my entire setup I've been spending like the past couple of weeks working at. So yeah. So there's that. Let's go do it now. Let's see if all that setup and all that explanation for the crazy things that I made, you know, gets what would be the proper way to describe it? Guess to do what I need it to do. I don't know. I'm not great with words.